Hey guys, it is early Sunday morning. I mean, it's not that early for people who get up early, but I'm a 10 to 2 person. This is my ideal hours of operation. Anything outside them, you're getting a half wit. I didn't have coffee yesterday as an experiment. I got a coffee. I woke up with a coffee headache, so I didn't get the coffee headache until the next day, so that's good. It's been bright, sunny, and dry here in Ottawa, and I'm moving some big feelings. Let's see how long. I'm hoping the kids stay inside. They all got their peanut butter wraps, hence the peanut butter on my hands. So hopefully we can have this minute. I was hoping to be making a video, our first video for our YouTube series about me taking the kids to go live in the woods for the summer, which I've been trying to do off and on for weeks, and now I know why, because Nova Scotia's closed. I don't get to go to Nova Scotia this summer is basically the situation with their reopening plans and the timelines. Like, you can't spend the summer in Nova Scotia if you're only there for the last 2 weeks of August. We were going to be gardening, cracking out some gardens and gardening up at the homestead and exploring the land that we're going to be homesteading on eventually. So that's not happening. So now I'm going to update you with the big feelings about that as I'm moving through them. So now we're staying in Ontario, in our lovely property here that we rent. The things that I was hoping to avoid being around for include the yard work has already happened. They dug out my whole house. So my house the step is new. There's a giant grapevine growing through the old step. That's all sumac and honeysuckle, ferns. Some of the ferns have come back. This was all lilac, and then rhubarb. The rhubarb I tried to save. It is slowly coming back. It's going to have a rough year. I was able to dig out a chunk about the size of my hand, but there's some more peanut butter. When the excavator came, the chunk of rhubarb root from the rhubarb that grew beside our house was bigger than a football. It was huge. And I debated pulling it out and cleaning it and making medicine from it, but it didn't feel right, so I didn't. Because that's how we do things, right? We check our heart. If it doesn't feel right, I'm just not going to do it. But that's hard, because I still struggle with that guessing. Like, I second guess that knowing a lot, but the first answer is generally the right answer. So my house used to be hugged by all of my friends, and when they finally told me they were coming, I went around, and first thing I did is I went around and I told everyone. I told everyone what was happening. I sent them visuals in my head. I imagined what it would be like and beamed it at all of the plants growing around my house, because I don't own this place and I don't have power, and the foundation work had to happen. So even if I own the place, there's no point owning a place and then not keeping it in repair so that it falls into a giant heap for your plant friends. So, and then the next day after they've been warned and hopefully said, oh, I know it's spring, but let's put it all back in the roots. We dug up as many as we could, and I put offers out, and people came and took plants. And so I didn't dig up as much for me as I wanted, but I still also have 4 kids running underfoot, so that's just the story of my life. I will never do as much as I would like to in my head. But we've got one plant of motherwort, a couple mugwort, a mint that has never done really well because it's always been crowded out, so we'll see how that goes. And then a patch that is just the original mix of who was growing around the house. So it's got, I think there's one wood sorrel in there, and there's the grass and the long grass that grows there. There's maybe a violet, maybe a wild strawberry. So we'll see who shows up. I tried to salvage 3 of the tall lilacs, but they construction went longer. I'm surprised the rhubarb, that one of these rhubarbs I kept in dirt, and all of the rest of the rhubarb I dug out in a mad race in the evening after bedtime before the sunset, and threw them on the stones, and then never like dealt with them again. And it didn't rain at all, so the big chunk of rhubarb the size of my hand dried out nearly completely while trying to put off little shoots. And so I soaked it really hard before putting it in the ground, and it has put off new shoots, but it is very struggling. So I've been sending Reiki to it in hopes help it out. I didn't do good by it. I feel bad. I feel guilty. But the rest of the yard has been turned into chaos. Sorry, this is a new phone, and I don't know how to switch cameras around angles. That's fine. See, there's my yard. So because they dug out our house, there's a lot, like, we live on Canadian Shield. There's not a huge amount of dirt before we hit bedrock, but there's a lot of good size chunks of rock, and the kids were collecting them from the piles. So my lawn is full of rocks randomly that we need to suss out. If I had a scythe, like, that'd be the easiest and best way to mow my lawn. We were letting the dandelions go to seed too. I'm sure my neighbors are not happy about that, but I am. And you're gonna get that because I don't have the editing. So I guess I'm right now in the planning stages of what we do here. There was an event that I really wanted to go to, but I chose that the adventure of being in Nova Scotia and living off the land there with the kids would be a more conducive adventure. Like, is an either or. Like, I would benefit from it in a way that it's a unique opportunity to do for all of us. But I'm gonna go to this event in July, and I'm excited to go to that I get this opportunity. I'm trying to source out, because everybody's gardening and stuff, I'm going to try and source out some, and I didn't start any seeds. I'm going to source out some starters that people already have. The side of the house there gets full sun almost all day, just off the driveway. And so I'm thinking of I put a tobacco plant out there I was gifted. It's where the lilacs normally were, so it wasn't a big issue. I don't know how the heating in my house is going to be over the summer with this. I miss my friends. Like, my house had a hug. Like, the plants used to hug my house, and it is like, you can feel the lack of hug on my house. My house looks naked. I feel weird. And I have a deal with the house that I'm going to try and put only natives or non-native annuals in. So, like, because I live on it's a nature conservatory, so that was like, it's not like illegal. It's a deal I made with the land itself when I moved here. I have deals with the land itself that I moved here. Like, this house called us in, and so now I got to figure out what we're doing. I've been putting off a lot of stuff, homeschooling wise. Like, we were gonna do a big reset when we moved, where we like detoxed from tech. Not like, I'm not anti-tech, but detoxed and became more mindful about our tech use, because we've kind of, all of us, fallen into some patterns. And I have a bunch of homeschooling binders I was prepping for the summer, and I guess I'll have to adjust them to not have an ocean accessible, which isn't that big of a change. But my kids need to get out in nature in a more palatable way than we currently have been. And I mean, the backyard is amazing and there's a lot of nature here, but it's also like the backyard. I don't know, we could do a lot here, and I think that's kind of what I'm going to do, is just do what we were going to do there. There are a ton of wild edibles in my backyard, although my dog's been pooping all my patches. I think one of the hardest things, like one of the things that really like was hard on my heart was when, I can't remember who, somebody got a big cut. Not like one of my kids like had to go to the hospital and get like glued up, but somebody got like a really bad cut that wasn't that bad. It wasn't hospital worthy, but it was like stinging and stuff. and I went to go get plantain. All my patches where I knew plantain were had been like disturbed, because plantain likes disturbed areas. So around the house, along the pathways, there's a spot where I let mulch sit for over a year. So that area were all like not conducive to allow it to, like, I had to, Frecky, come. Sorry, the dog is edging her way to where she's allowed to go, and she's back here. We're experimenting with her off-leashishness. No, Frecky, come here. In the house. In the house. No, I don't want you standing there in case a package comes. Because although we had a little bit, but back to my story. So all the patches where I knew plantain grew were either covered in construction site stuff or dog poo. And I was like, I had a hard cry in the yard, because I was like, no, all my friends are not where I want them. I know where they are and I can't. Oh, it was a big, like, I can still feel it. I didn't cry all those tears because I can feel it welling up. The sumac is so upset. Like, they're, like, it's making do, as sumac does. Like, sumac can teach some serious lessons about making do with what happens to you. Like, it comes back after fire. Like, the lessons sumac is giving me in this process are always brilliant. It was the first one here. When we moved here 5 years ago, that, like, because they had bushwhacked all around the back of the house before we moved here, like in the fall, and we moved here in the middle of winter. They had bushwhacked it all because the back door had been, the whole back of the house had been allowed to overgrown to the point you couldn't come in and out this door. As sumac was one of the first ones coming up, and the sumac roots are through the entire, like, as much as I don't feel the physical above ground hug, it's the downstairs hug too, because the sumac roots are all around our house on the one side. And the deal I made with the sumac was that it gets that side of the house. I'm like, I will not prune you in there, but you don't get to go in the lawn and you don't get to go in the garden. And it creeps. Like, it's just like the dog creeping to the edge of where she knows she's allowed to go. The sumac creeps to, like, the edge and tests my boundaries. And so, but with this stress, sumac is coming up all over my yard and in my garden bed. And yeah, so I've got a lot of thinking to do and rearranging and pivoting, and sumac can help me with that. A lot of the big sumacs had already been tree ringed by the rabbits, so it's going to be interesting. I don't think I have it in my heart to whack out the buckthorn this year. And, like, we're planning on moving to Nova Scotia, so I don't know how many more years we have here, but I want to leave it better than I found it. And a lot of the work I've done has just been undone. But that's the way it is in a rental. And yeah, I have some big feelings, but I want to get some vegetable starts. And then I want to try doing the Three Sisters again. I've got pole running things, and the onions I planted in March are doing great. So we have that. They should be going, one of them was putting up flowers. They should be going to seed soon. So I might try collecting the seeds. I don't even know. I'll have to research seed collection on onions, because they're bulbs, but, like, I have no idea. You have to add 2 hours to that. Sorry. 2 hours? Yeah. But yeah, so sorry, there's not gonna be any editing in this, and you can see how blonde and long my eyelashes are in this video. I'm just keep getting distracted by my eyelashes and my eyebrows. We've been spending a lot of time outside, and so I'm hoping that I will, instead of doing a video series of me in the woods with the kids, it'll be me in the wood house with the kids. But we'll have a house involved, and then the inside of my house needs to be completely reorganized, because there's a lot of stuff I was leaving for Matt to do when I was gone, and we didn't have children underfoot. And I guess this is our learning of doing it with children underfoot anyway. Yeah, I say anyway a lot. So yeah, please drop a comment, drop a like, hit the subscribe button. If you want more content about just, this is, I guess I'll try and make a playlist with this as the vlog style. You want to follow along as we do this homesteading from our rental. And it's Sunday, May 29th or 30th. Okay. Plus or minus 1. 29 plus or minus 1. You can hear the birds.
I know. There's
not as many birds around because we don't have all of the protection and food sources for them. It's making me, I'm a little crazy without my friends. I feel the loss. The mugwort is planted by the stairs where the grape was. I'm tempted to go and get a grape to put back in. There is a really good wild edible grape. I mean, it's probably, most of the grape around here is bird planted. But there is one that has good sized grapes that are really good, really delicious, that I think may be the origin. That's it was like they're Concordy grapes, but they have big seeds too. So anyway, there's delicious grapes back there that go over to the neighbors, and that vine got cut last year by the roofers when they roofed the garage. High rolls, yeah. But if it gets real tangled in there. If I can go and find a section of it that I can hive off and root off, and I might put that there. But it wasn't doing so good for the house, so I might not. We'll see. It'd be better to get an arbor and put it on the arbor. And my raspberry friends are gone, but they went to a friend, so I'm hoping they do okay. I don't know. We're trying. We had really delicious black raspberries that were bird planted here. So drop a like, drop a subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. I'm going to do more vlogs. At some point, our original plan was I was going to do all the raw footage and send it while we were out and send it to Matt to do all of the editing to make it fancy. But now you're just going to get raw meat because we don't have time for editing right now. I know me, I can't edit. Yeah, that's not my forte. I play within I push my limits, but I know where I'm skilled, and if I can find someone who's more skilled, I will let them do that. But much love, take care, connect with one of your plant neighbors, get to know them, get to see how you both like a lilac, or maybe a blade of grass, or maybe a dandelion. And comment what kind of stuff you want to see me doing by myself, with the plants, with the kids, the homestead. I can't have chickens, sadly. I'm not even supposed to have a dog, according to my lease, apparently. But it's illegal to say no dogs and cats in Ontario because of Tenancy Act, so kind of ignored that. Have a great day, guys. Much love. Bye.